Good evening, ladies and germaphobes. I think I'm pretty familiar with getting YouTube into the lineup here. Still trying to figure out the settings. Been a minute since I've live streamed on the YouTube, so taking a couple days to get back into familiarity with it. Oh my God, Jordan Sailor's back. Yes, here to sail with you, indeed. Happy Friday, guys. Hope y'all have had a good week. On deck tonight, got to reference my list. What are we chatting about? Trump and Zelensky held a meeting. Zelensky actually wore a suit for it. Begging for Tomahawk missiles. Trump basically said no. No Tomahawks for you. We've got more nuclear news. We talked about small modular reactors on Wednesday that the Army is coming out with, and now the Department of Energy came out with a press release on nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion. Pretty cool. Venezuela's fucked. In the words of Trump, he dropped another F-bomb. A nuclear F-bomb. That's glorious. I didn't have time to put it into my buttons here.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
But I'm going to have to add in the new F word in there. Let's see. John Bolton indicted. Won't be the last either. And we shall chat about the whole No Kings protest bullshit going on again tomorrow, I guess. Maybe. We'll see if anybody even shows up. Globalists are clearly funding it. Media's trying to call it nonviolent when the whole protest hasn't even happened yet. Whatever, dude. And then fertility crisis. RFK Jr. And the president held a press conference yesterday announcing changes to IVF, making it cheaper, making it more available. RFK Jr. came out with some stats on how screwed up our hormones are. Which, yeah. No shit, Sherlock.
No shit, Sherlock.
People can't have no babies. Because they physically can't have no babies. Because their bodies are too damn toxic and they eat like shit. And their balls are full of plastic. And women's ovaries are... It's just... they don't work. So yeah. We'll talk about the fertility crisis. What you can do. What's up, Joey? New subscriber? Shout out, man. Appreciate you being here. People still figuring out that, yes, YouTube gave me my channel back. Pretty freaking sweet. So glad to have you here again. No Kings rally and no digital ID in Europe. Yeah, that digital ID is whack, yo. And I just saw a headline post somewhere. I forget where. I didn't add it into the show, but I saw that Amazon is coming out with facial recognition capability for their doorbell Ring cameras. I would not have an Amazon doorbell Ring camera product. Any Amazon audio or video product I would not own. And I do not own. Whether it be that Alexa or a Ring doorbell. Because you don't know where the hell that data is going. And you don't know how much shit that is capturing on you. So while the government in the UK is trying to roll out their digital ID, I was actually having a conversation about this last night. Other countries where their government has more power, other Western countries like Canada, Australia, the UK, their government tries to push the Orwellian shit like digital ID. But here in America, we have a little bit more power as a people with the Second Amendment, with our republic form of government. So it's more difficult for the New World Order to roll out their control systems through the government, so they do it through the private sector. See, in America, they do it through companies. Amazon, Twitter, Facebook, Google. All of these companies, most of them were started by CIA and DARPA contracts. Twitter, Google. And a lot of them, Amazon, contract with the CIA anyway. So we're sold these stories that, oh, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, they started in their garage and they're self-made billionaires and you can do it too. Yeah. These faggots are just puppets. They were helped. They were groomed and helped, and yeah, the globalists, the New World Order, they roll out their control systems through the private sector in America, and then they brainwash us to accept it, whether it's out of convenience, whether it's out of a sense of security, which would be a false sense of security, right? Doorbell, Ring camera, they get the video footage, facial recognition, false sense of security. Or they get the celebrities to promote it, and then everybody thinks they need it to be cool. Yeah, you got to get a TikTok account. You got to get on all these social media platforms. Get yourself a Snapchat. You got to have the next latest phone. You've got to have a freaking watch on your arm with GPS that tracks you and can listen to you, and otherwise you're not a cool kid if you don't have one of these fancy smartwatches. Smartwatch? Dude. I rock Casios, and these things are too smart for me. God, sometimes I think about going back to a dumb phone. Getting rid of the smartphone and going to a dumb phone. Computers on refrigerators. What the hell, people? You don't need that shit. I most definitely judge people based off their choice of accoutrements in their life. All right, enough chat. I need to be on Joy Stevens' show. I don't know who Joy Stevens is. Sorry about that. I see in the near future, people will voluntarily wear masks because of facial recognition. Yeah, right? It's the only time I fully support mask wearing is so Amazon and Facebook don't get my face, even though it's everywhere on the internet already. What am I going to do? Stupid me, I guess. Subsidized companies able to provide free products that beat out all the competition until they can monopolize and make real money. Indeed. We pay these companies for them to research the products that they end up bringing out to market anyway and make money off of, that we then pay for. So they get tax dollars, our dollars, to research the things and bring them to market, and then we pay for it again when we buy it on the market. And it's insane. Screwed up, man. Screwed up. All right. This technology is going to save the world. That genetically engineered corn is going to save the world. So government gives Monsanto our tax dollars for them to research how to genetically alter corn, and then they force the farmers to buy their patented corn. And then farmers have to get more of our tax dollars for subsidies because corn's so cheap and they got so many bills since they have to buy the frickin' seeds. Imagine that, patenting seeds. And then they bring their corn to market, and then we buy the corn. So we're paying 3-4 times just to buy genetically engineered Frankencrop. That's just one example. There's many more. What an insane world we live in. Missed the morning gig over on Pilled. All right, noted. That is coming back within the next few days. Avoid the cloud storage surveillance. Yep, I I guess I don't use cloud knowingly. Maybe unknowingly, some shit I'm subscribed to or some app I use uses cloud storage, but I don't turn it on for my photos and documents and whatnot. Do not buy into convenience culture, my friends. Convenience culture gives you TV dinners that give you cancer. Convenience culture gives you smartwatches emitting electromagnetic frequencies on your wrist all day, doing who knows what to your blood. Convenience culture gives you freaking 14-inch TVs in your dashboard of your car that distract you while you're driving down the street. So, reject it. Reject the poison. Reject the physical poison. Reject the mental poison. Gosh, a lot of comments on YouTube. It's going to be tough keeping up with the comments when I'm doing these shows, but I'd do my best. October challenge, no screen time every day. I fail. I'm sorry. I have a vested interest in screen time. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't watch me. I guess you could listen. Smart water is the dumbest water you can drink. Are you talking about the Smart Water brand? Doesn't Coke own that? Fact check me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Coca-Cola owns Smart Water. I want my water dumb. I want my watch dumb. I want my fridge dumb. I want my TV dumb. Bring back VHS. Bring back Blockbuster. If Blockbuster made a comeback, I would absolutely. I don't even have. Do I have streaming services? Maybe like one or two. But I would cancel all of them and go to Blockbuster all the time. Evian backwards is naive. And who owns Evian? I think Aquafina is Nestle. Who owns Evian water? They're always owned. They're always freaking owned by one of the other companies. I was looking at a study on protein powders today. And the study just looked really retarded. It was studying how many heavy metals, specifically lead, are in major protein powders. And all the brands that this report said were great, that are fine to take every day, were just mega corporate owned trash brands. Muscle Milk, Optimum Nutrition, BSN. And this report said they were all fine. I'm like, come on. I guarantee you the organization that ran that report got money from big industry. All the companies it said were fine to take every day were loaded with corn syrup, loaded with soy, loaded with artificial sweeteners, owned by Glanbia, which is a giant milk producer that owns a bunch of protein brands, or owned by China, or owned by Pepsi. Pepsi owns Muscle Milk. And those were all the brands they said didn't have any lead when we're fine to drink every day. Bullshit. That was a Consumer Reports study. I might do a video of that on that for the Conscious Strength YouTube channel. We'll see. I'm sorry, guys. It's fun being back on YouTube and getting all your comments and chatting. Let's get into it. So, shameless self-promotion, mind you. Don't mind me. If you want to support this show, support this shit stirring, you can grab a product from my supplement brand. I got mushroom coffee. Organic instant coffee with medicinal mushrooms. Got a really good electrolyte powder, really good greens powder. These are naturally sweetened. Really good products. Way cheaper than your other electrolytes and greens powders in the market. sometimes half the price. Curcumin, methylene blue, oregano oil, Shilajit gummies, and more. Go check it out. Product I want to highlight to you is the collagen. It's my latest product. No sweetener, no nothing, no filler. It's just plain Jane, unflavored collagen. Type 1 and type 3. Really good for your hair, skin, nails, joints, connective tissue of your body. Collagen is the connective tissue protein, so helps hair, skin, nails, joints, bones, cartilage. And I just put this in my coffee every morning. Put a scoop or two in my coffee. Mix is easy, no taste. You can put it in smoothies and juice, whatever. Just don't put it in a little baggie and travel with it. They'll think you're Hunter Biden. But yeah, good stuff. Go check it out. If you're not interested in products, I do have a private health coaching group, Applied Awareness, that I've been teaching about nutrition and supplementation and posture and corrective exercise in. You can go check that out. Link below in the description. I do weekly live streams, weekly live presentations and Q&As on Sundays. And I have a ton of exclusive videos in here in the education courses, nutrition, supplements, toxins, discernment courses, etc. It's really cool. Community chat too. And if that doesn't float your boat, then you can just help me out on Patreon or on Locals. Subscribing on Patreon or Locals, you'll get access to an exclusive Telegram chat, Only Friends, my Only Friends Telegram chat, and you'll get a 20% off coupon code to the Supps to use whenever you want. All right. I'm sorry for going through that, but I got to, because I ain't monetized, and I don't make $7,000 a post. All right, so first let's start with nuclear news. So we talked about this on Wednesday, and I also uploaded a video yesterday on small modular nuclear microreactors. Nuclear microreactors are going to change the game. And I am a big believer in next generation advanced nuclear technology. I don't think it's going to save the world. I don't think it will or should be the only thing we rely on. But I do believe that it is a step in the right direction. Whereas ugly-ass inefficient windmills and stupid solar panels on the ground are a step in the wrong direction. Small modular reactors, SMRs, with thorium as the fuel and molten salt as the cooling mechanism. They're about the size of a semi-truck trailer, not very big. They can be even smaller than that and a bit larger than that, but these things are just next-gen cool. And if we operationalize these and deploy them, we can greatly reduce the amount of transmission wires going across the countryside, reduce the amount of forests we have to cut down for those transmission wires, reduce the amount of mining and refining and minerals we need to make all the transmission wires. We'd reduce our dependence on oil, gas, and coal. We would reduce all the windmills across the countryside killing all the birds. We'd reduce all the dams screwing up salmon spawning. Pretty cool. And then I wanted to recap that because the Army just came out with their Janus program where they're going to have operational nuclear microreactors within 3 years. September 2028. So we talked about that Wednesday. I did the video on it yesterday. I wanted to talk about it now because with the Army announcing this on Tuesday, their Janus program for nuclear small reactors, today the Department of Energy came out with an announcement on nuclear fusion, which is also nuclear, but it's a little different. SMRs, from my understanding, are still fission reactors. Nuclear fusion is also nuclear, but it's a whole different ballgame. The Department of Energy released its Fusion Science and Technology Roadmap today, a national strategy to accelerate the development and commercialization of fusion energy on the most rapid, responsible timeline in history. The roadmap defines DOE's Built, Innovate, Grow strategy to align public investment and private innovation to deliver commercial fusion power to the grid by the mid-2030s. So within the next decade. Big change, man. Those were the exact first words I said in my video yesterday, is that within the next 10 years, maybe even 5, we're going to see a massive change in how we electrify and power our society. And I think these advanced nuclear options are the first step. Not the best step, but the first step on the right path. The next step, in my opinion, may be space-based solar power, which I'm planning on doing another whiteboard video this weekend on about, so you'll get a YouTube or Rumble notification for that. Space-based solar power, and then after that, we'll see. We'll see where we go. Comment in the Rumble chat says, nice, nuclear bombs everywhere. No, because thorium is much, much, much more difficult to create. You can't really create weapons out of thorium microreactors. And thorium is much more abundant. There's huge thorium veins on the border of Idaho and Montana. And lots of countries have huge thorium deposits. You can actually get more electricity from thorium than you can from uranium. So not only is it safer, can you get more energy from it, there's tons of thorium that's mineable. You can't really make a weapon out of thorium, so it's a much, much better nuclear tech. And in terms of the radiation and waste, I believe it's essentially negligible. I do believe there's a little bit from thorium SMRs, but it's, yeah. I mean, a trip. Just get rid of it that way. I don't know why that hasn't been done. Or maybe it has and we just don't know about it. Next story. Also on the energy topic, but pretty interesting. Head of Russia's sovereign wealth fund pitches a Putin-Trump undersea oil pipeline. and the Russian sovereign wealth fund head, it's Kirill, our boy Kirill Dmitriev. This guy has been posting a load of Q-related content, like straight up just posting screenshots of Q drops on his Twitter account. And he is I don't know how relevant of an official he is in Russia, but he's the head of the Russia's sovereign wealth fund, and he is, from my understanding, pretty well connected. So it's pretty wild that he's just straight up posting Q drops. But he made some posts today suggesting a oil pipeline connecting the U.S. and Russia over the Bering Strait. Or just right under the Bering Strait. Between Russia and Alaska. Just yoink. What did he say? Imagine connecting the U.S. and Russia with a 70-mile link. He called it the Putin-Trump pipeline. Traditional costs are $65 billion, but Elon's Boring Company could reduce it to $8 billion. I don't know, man. By the time we get that done, would it even be needed? Space-based solar power is cooler. And, there's basically an energy tech race going on between all these countries. China deployed a small, I don't know how small it is, but a thorium reactor earlier this year. So China's already deployed one. Russia has a naval vessel. They have a ship with a nuclear generator on it. The ship isn't powered by a nuclear generator. It has one, so they can bring it into a dock and plug it into the grid and get power that way. I mean, tons of these countries, India as well, because India has, I think, the highest thorium deposits on the planet. India is definitely developing. India is actually working with the U.S. to develop thorium tech. Trump just gave a license to a U.S. company to sell India thorium and help them build thorium reactors. So countries and companies around the world are pushing real hard into thorium SMRs, and countries and corporations are also pushing real hard into space-based solar power. China, Japan, the UK, the US, I think New Zealand too, ton of them. They're all looking to put satellites in space with big-ass solar panels, harvest a bunch of photons, and beam that energy back down to Earth with either microwaves or radio waves. And that space-based solar power would be even more decentralizing than small modular reactors. But you should use them both. Use them both in combination so you have contingencies, and they both have a place. But that's not even getting into the whole free energy discussion, which I think is on the horizon, but take steps to get there. Nuclear is one step. SMRs, space-based solar power, is another step. Yeah. Fertility crisis is next. Trump held a press conference the other day announcing the slash of the cost of IVF and many of the most common infertility drugs.
We're here today to announce a historic victory for American women, mothers, and families. With the actions I will outline this afternoon will dramatically slash the cost of IVF and the treatment and many of the most common fertility drugs. For countless millions of Americans, prices are going way down, way down.
And then RFK came out with some statistics on how screwed up our testicles are.
When my uncle was president, the fertility rate in this country was 3.5%. Today, it is 1.6%. The replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%. We are below replacement right now. That is a national security threat to our country. And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure to chemicals that decrease fertility. Today, when my uncle was president,
below the replacement rate.
Today, the average teenager in this country has 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone as a 65-year-old man. Our girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier. And that's bad, but also our parents aren't having children.
The average teenager in this country has half of the sperm count and half the testosterone of a 65-year-old man. But bro, how many of these 65-year-old men are on TRT? Anyway, beside the point. Well, no, that is a part of the point, because would we need all this freaking TRT guys are injecting if they didn't have such low testosterone? Why do we have low testosterone? Actually, I think RFK makes a mention of a couple of reasons why.
Parents who want to have children do not have access. I have 7 children. I feel that God has blessed me with that, and I can't imagine how different my life would be if I did not have that blessing. Today, the average teenager
I thought he was going to talk about the endocrine disruptors. Maybe he gets into that in this one.
replacement right now. That is a national security threat to our country. And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure to chemicals that decrease fertility.
There he goes. All right. That was the video with the endocrine disruptor clip. Yeah, no shit, right? Our diet sucks. We're freaking malnourished, yet obese at the same time. Mind-blowing. So we're super fat, but we're still malnourished because we eat garbage food that's not even food. Our body literally can't manufacture hormones because it doesn't have the building blocks to do it. And then we lather our bodies up, bathe in toxins, endocrine disrupting chemicals that are all over the place. Hygiene products are probably one of the biggest sources, from shampoo, soap, hand wash, makeup, lotion, sunscreen, perfumes and colognes, shaving cream, whatever else you put on your body. Tons of those hygiene products have parabens, petroleum-based byproducts, little micro-scrubbing plastic beads in them, plenty of other chemicals, most petroleum-based, and they are endocrine disruptors. Also fabrics, our polyester clothes, our carpets, our cars, our couches, sprayed with flame retardant chemicals, and we just breathe them all in without even thinking about it. Of course, chemicals in the food, your soy, your genetically engineered trash. I could keep going down the list, but laundry detergent is a big one too. Laundry detergent. Blech. Whenever I walk down the grocery store, the cleaning aisles, the laundry detergent aisle, I hold my breath. Blech. Some people actually think that shit smells good. No, man. Estrogeneration. Oh, I like that one. That is a good one. That's a book. Never heard of that book, but that is a quality wordplay there. Yeah, what else? What else is endocrine disrupting? I don't know. I was, when I was putting together the, couple weeks ago, the presentation for the detoxification week in my coaching group, I was going through the statistics on how much lotion and makeup and the volume of hygiene product that people put on their skin every year. And the average, like, it's multiple pounds of lotion the average person uses. I think between 2 and 3 pounds of lotion. And the average woman puts between 1 and 3 pounds of makeup on her face a year. And, oh yeah, heavy metals, petroleum-based byproducts in these. It's gnarly. Chat says maybe forget those lotions and just use olive oil instead. I've been using a tallow face cream. I actually really like it. Oils too, yep. Coconut oil makes a solid skin moisturizer. But many options out there. Especially sunscreen. Sunscreen's gnarly. Tons of crap in sunscreen. And we wonder why our testicles don't work. So, what's up, you guys over on Pilled? Appreciate all those tips. You guys are great. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Woo! All right. What do we got next? Oh, Dr. Robert Malone here. One more. Two more. My sneezes come in fours. Oddly enough. And that was four, so it should be good. Robert Malone had some things to say about Trump's thoughts on the vaccine schedule.
President Trump wants the entire vaccine schedule revisited, childhood vaccine schedule. He wants to know whether or not there's actual science behind that entire schedule and whether or not it needs to be reconsidered or even revoked.
No shit, Sherlock.
If there's actual science behind the vaccine schedule, and see if it needs to be reconsidered or revoked. I like those words. And you know, you got all the Democrats out there all pissed off, calling for RFK Jr. to resign or quit or be fired. All those pharma-funded Democrats, but don't kid yourself. Republicans are full of shit too. Many of them. John Thune tells Americans not to take RFK Jr.'s health advice. Bro, does this guy look like a character from Mars Attacks? With the big heads? Those aliens with the big heads? I feel like his eyes are more than like below the halfway line of his face, of his head. Below the equator. This is what this clown boy had to say.
I think some of the members in your caucus who are having those conversations with other Democrats are people who might be leaving Washington. I'm thinking about Tom Tillis. I'm thinking about Joni Ernst. You've also got Bill Cassidy and Susan Collins coming up for re-election. We'll see how their bids ultimately fare. But those are some of the names that we end up talking about the most because they are willing to at least sometimes question this White House. Is what your party is driving towards the potential for a party of no dissent? And is that a healthy party?
No, and I don't think that's true. I mean, I would argue, and I've dissented a number of times just in the last few weeks.
For example, on what?
Well, on Tylenol, for example.
Okay.
FCC. I mean, you go back and check the record.
Do you feel the way RFK Jr. is talking about that is dangerous?
Well, I've said that I think that if I were a woman, I'd be talking to my doctor and not taking, advice from RFK or any other government bureaucrat for that matter.
Wait, what? Hey, Johnny boy. You do realize what these doctors are taught in school is education that mainly comes from government bureaucracies, right? So you're going to talk to your doctor, but your doctor is just going to tell you what he's told by the universities and the insurance companies and the authorities. Just talk to your doctor. Just because you have an alphabet next to your name and a fancy, expensive plaque on the wall with a degree doesn't make you a genius.
But I just think that there are subjects and issues on which we have differences of opinion. I typically litigate those privately rather than publicly.
Well, thankfully, this is not about opinion. This is about facts. This ain't no about opinion. This is about facts.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Isn't he a government bureaucrat? Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Hey, John Thune, looking at me here lately, bro? Now let's get to Trump's meeting with Zelensky. Met at the White House today. Our little Ukrainian midget actually wore a suit. He wore a suit, but is he still wearing some Nikes? Apparently, he does not own dress shoes. He's got to look up at him at like a 45-degree angle, like he's a little child looking up at daddy. He basically just begged for weapons. That's all Zelensky did. Begged for missiles. Trump says he hopes war will end without Ukraine needing tomahawks. And he made some strongly worded posts today to Truth Social, essentially saying that it appears as though soon there will be an agreement, some sort of deal to end the war. But he did not say that about Venezuela. Here's what he had to say about Venezuela today when asked.
It has been reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
What?
Gotcha, bitch.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Check out this Jesse Waters segment from yesterday.
Fox News alert, B-52 bombers are flying off the coast of Venezuela. Trump's not bluffing. Right now, more than 10,000 U.S. soldiers are built up in the Caribbean, on ships in Puerto Rico, locked and loaded. Special operations helicopters were just seen flying 90 miles from Venezuela's coast. The chopper units used by Delta Force, Navy SEALs, and the Green Berets. The Black Ops were spotted off the coast of Trinidad. They're very important for search and rescue missions. Also spotted Little Birds. They're smaller but faster, designed for quick insertion of special operators behind enemy lines. The Ghost was also confirmed to be in the Caribbean. That's the nickname for MV Ocean Trader. It's the kind of ship that doesn't want to be found.
Here's video footage of a ship that doesn't want to be found. Here's video footage of helicopters from Black Operations Forces, Delta Force and Navy SEALs, that don't want to be seen, that conduct super secret operations. Look at the video footage we have for you here of these super secret operations. No. They want to be seen. They're doing this on purpose. If they did not want to be seen, they would not be seen. So this is simply a show of force. This is psychological warfare in action. Show of force to make them capitulate so no shots are fired.
It's designed for black ops and special missions because it's dark and blends in with cargo.
Yep, real dark. Real secret black op right there. Super secret ship. In plain sight.
There's more. 10% of the U.S. naval power is now in the region. It's a major shift. There's subs, several destroyers, and F-35 fighters in Puerto Rico. That's on top of all the coke boats getting smoked to pieces by the week. Kilos of cocaine are washing ashore. Don't tell Hunter. Dozens of bad hombres becoming shark bait.
Bad hombres. Yeah, I wouldn't, what does this comment here say? I've seen some documents, Maduro working with the U.S. against the cartel. This is great. I would not be shocked if Maduro had already capitulated to Trump, and this show of force, what they're saying to each other in front of the cameras, is just cover. A show. It's cover for, U.S. to go in there, take out some cartel targets. But I'm cool with that. I'm sure those D boys, those Delta Force boys and the Navy SEALs, they're probably more than happy to. I'm sure they're way more excited about doing something like this that actually helps the homeland instead of going to friggin' Afghanistan and guarding opium fields. Instead of guarding the opium fields, now they're setting the fentanyl on fire. Big shift. Show of force, though. U.S. masses 10,000 troops near Venezuela. A top admiral resigns. Head of the U.S. military's Southern Command resigns. That is the commander of the region, Caribbean and South America. Admiral Alvin Halsey leaving his job as all this Venezuela stuff is hitting ahead. Unclear why Admiral Halsey is suddenly quitting. It's been reported that Admiral Halsey had raised concerns about the mission and the attacks on the drug boats. Don't know why he quit. Maybe he was one of them fat generals. Didn't want to be PT'd by Pete Hegseth. I don't want to run. I quit. Couple more things and I'll get back to the chat. Bullet dodged. Attempt by the United Nations to force massive climate tax down the throats of Americans goes down in flames thanks to Trump. The, what was it here? The United Nations London-based International Maritime Organization attempted to saddle ships with taxes ranging from $100 to $380 per metric ton of carbon dioxide that exceeds a certain emissions level. I don't know the average, well, above a certain level. I don't know how much these ships were purportedly going to cost, but just Green New Deal scam shit. Trump made a post, outrage that the IMO is voting in London this week to pass the global carbon tax. The U.S. won't stand for it. Not going to vote for it. We reject that BS. Green New scam bureaucracy. Right? Ooh, carbon dioxide. Tax this, UN. They would totally tax our breathing if they could. Ah, you farted. That'll be $1, sir. John Bolton, indicted on 18 counts of leaking, sharing more than 1,000 pages of classified information. 1,000? I didn't realize it was that much. 1,000 pages. 18 counts, indicted by a grand jury. Counts 1 to 8, transmission of classified data. And the rest were retention. So he held it. He shared it. Get wrecked. Get wrecked, Bolton. Let's see. Kash Patel was on John Solomon's podcast 2 days ago and said that they're just getting started and basically insinuating we should expect more indictments. Many more indictments, even by the end of the year. Even within the next couple of months. Exciting. Also, Jack Smith. Jackoff Smith being referred to DOJ for misconduct and potential disbarment. A lot more is coming. Also, let's just finish up here, then I'll get to the chat. Prince Andrew surrenders all of his royal titles, including Duke of York, over his endless Epstein and espionage scandals. Oh, yeah. That happened on the 17th, didn't it? Interesting number. I don't know why Prince Andrew just hasn't run away to a, hide out on a little private island quite yet, but goodbye, Prince Andrew. And speaking of princes and queens and kings, no kings protest happening tomorrow. I guess if you're driving around any kind of urban area, you might see some blue hairs and boomers out on the sidewalk holding Orange Man Bad signs. Who funds them? The No Kings protests are set to sweep the nation again this weekend, fueled by a network of left-leaning advocacy groups, unions, and dark money organizations. Here's the key partners funding the No Kings protest. Just look at the names: Indivisible, Free DC, Healthcare Voter, Americans for Tax Fairness, Move On, Common Cause, League of Conservation Voters, American Civil Liberties Union. I ain't never seen such commie words before. Here's some of the organizations funding the one in New York. Democrat Socialists of America, League of Women Voters, Common Cause, Federal Unionists Network, Climate Families, The People's Forum, New York Progressive Action Network, The Workers' Circle, The Workers' Circle Jerk, Climate Defenders. Man. Doesn't that just make you feel good? These people care so much about the world. Well, actually, they do. I would not argue against that. These people do care about the world, but that's where they are easily manipulated. They're so emotional. They care so much. They're so emotional, but they can't control those emotions. So they're easily manipulated. Very easily manipulated. You can't say the liberal doesn't care. The average liberal very much cares. They're just heavily, heavily socially engineered. That emotion is used right back against them. Back in, I think it was April, the first one? It was like I think it was the first No Kings protest. One of those first big nationwide protest things that happened back in April. I went to it. And, there were some freaking weirdos there, man. Let me see if I can find that video. How many months ago was April 6? There it is. It's on my Rumble channel. It's not on YouTube because I was, of course, not on YouTube at the time. But where'd it go? Yeah, man, there were some freaking weirdos there. Dude, there were some weirdos there. Going back to my car, after the crowd dispersed, I made sure to do a few circles around the block, make sure I wasn't being followed or watched or anything. There was definitely some Antifers that were hassling me, because they could tell. I was walking around with my GoPro, and they could tell that I was not one of them. One of them. So they spotted me right away, because I didn't have blue hair or a mask or a pride flag on me. Very angry people. Appreciate you guys over on Pilled. No thanks, Joe. No thanks, Joe, but you thanked me. I appreciate that. Thanks for the dedication and hard work over the years and years. Hope things are going well. Thank you, my friend. Subpack vet. Wouldn't mind seeing someone drop a dozen skunks into the middle of a No Kings protest. Imagine being socially engineered to fear carbon dioxide. This is Jason on YouTube. When most plants prefer 2 times more, so it's used in greenhouses. Yeah, right? I mean, all this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, isn't it greening the planet? Plants love it. Algae blooms, things like that. Doesn't one volcano eruption emit more carbon dioxide than humans do in ever? Just saying. Plants prefer 1,600 parts per million CO2. There are CO2 generators in greenhouses. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm all for environmentalism. I'm all for not spraying freaking Roundup in our suburbs and golf courses and backyards. I'm all for taking care of our planet. But what they do is use legitimate social ideas and they fuck it. They fuck them with BS. Bait and switch. Yeah, we should save the planet. But let's do it with windmills and solar panels that require the guts of the earth to be mined. And have you ever seen one of these windmills get built? Have you ever been driving on the highway and pass a convoy moving one turbine blade, one of the blades for the windmill requires like a dozen truck convoy to move it. The amount of freaking carbon dioxide that's emitted from this giant truck convoy going hundreds of miles to deliver one of the blades for the turbine. It was so stupid. Solar panels. You got how many square miles of solar panel farms, and all the plants underneath die because they get no sun. Yeah, and how many birds do these windmills kill? I was watching a short film on some of this green new scam tech a week or two back, and a lot of eagles, a lot of birds of prey are killed in those windmills. Because where do they put the windmills? Where it's windiest. What do birds like to do? Like to catch those updrafts. They like to fly in the windy areas. So, who would have thunk? Windmills kill birds. Yep, you can't grow crops under those solar farms. Dead land. Which is why I hate solar panels on the ground, unless it's like a flashlight. I freaking love my solar power flashlight. Oh yeah, this thing. No, that's not it. But I got a solar charger, power bank. Yeah, it's right there on the windowsill. I like that. Or if you're out in the sticks, you got a few solar panels on a roof of a home. That's a great location for solar panels. Roof of a home. But to do like 10 square miles of solar panels for a grid? No. Put those solar panels in space and beam the energy to the ground. So get rid of all the windmills. Get rid of 95% of the solar panels. Just use them for small purposes. Homes and cars and generators and flashlights, but not for the grid. Get rid of 80% of dams. You might need a few dams for reservoirs for urban water purposes, but any hydroelectric dam that you're not using for a reservoir, get rid of that. You'd have to do it slowly because you're not just going to flood the place, but yeah. Get rid of, 80% of the pipelines, 95% of the transmission wires. Just move to small modular reactors, maybe a couple big fusion ones, space-based solar power. What about hydroelectric? Need some dams. No, we don't. We don't need them for hydroelectric. But we might need some dam. Well, we actually don't need dams for reservoir purposes because there are technologies that can create drinkable water from the ambient humidity in the atmosphere. So if we were to develop and operationalize those, we actually wouldn't need dams for water. If we were to scale those water creators, I mean, there's a ton of decentralized technologies out there that have the ability to really change everything greatly. They just need to be scaled. I mean, check it out. The water cube. Water production for home and business. These little cubes literally create water out of the ambient humidity in the atmosphere. Totally decentralized. Don't need pipes. It's just creating water out of the humidity in the atmosphere. There's units that can create about 10 to 20 gallons a day. There's bigger units that can create 1,000 gallons a day. Yeah, it just extracts water from the air. Water vapor condensed into liquid and purified. What a concept. Do we need dams for hydroelectricity? Not really. I mean, the main area of the country that uses hydroelectric is like the Pacific Northwest, because our rivers flow heavy enough. Out east, they don't do hydroelectric out east. The Mississippi River doesn't have enough potential energy for that. And really only about half of the electricity in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho is hydroelectric. The rest is really oil, gas, coal, a little bit wind, a little bit nuclear, but we actually do not need dams or windmills or solar farms or oil refineries. Think of all the state, federal property we have to pay to have mowed along the roads. Not just mowed, but how many pesticides, how many gallons of pesticides are used after they mow to kill the weeds next to the highways. I see it a lot. Man, a few months ago, I was driving through Oregon, and they had big signs up through a certain stretch of the highway. And big old tanks on tractors right in the median of the two lanes spraying pesticides, weed killer. And I could smell it. Oh, it was bad. For a couple of miles, I smelled it. I tried to hold my breath, but it was, it was bad. So, not just mowing. How many toxic chemicals do we spray on the side of the roads? Yeah, from my understanding, most microplastics in our environment, in our world, come from tires. Tires shed a lot. And then when it rains, the water runoff takes it from the roads into the aquifers. And then with how heavy electric vehicles are, they shed more. Electric vehicles shed more rubber because they're heavy. I would actually, if we had space-based solar power operationalized, I would buy an electric vehicle then, because the range would effectively be unlimited and you would never have to charge it. It would just be trickle charged from the radio waves being rained down from the space-based solar power. But even then, I mean, I would still prefer a water-powered car. Old tires are turned into poisonous turf on playgrounds. Don't get me started on those artificial field turf fields with all the little plastic rubber bits that they use for fake dirt. And not just the little plastic rubber bits, but you've got the grass itself that's plastic. And then the amount of injuries that artificial turf fields are causing in athletes. Because there's no give. Like natural grass, when you step on it, there's a little bit of give. There's much more shear force on our joints, on our knees and ankles from turning and cutting and running on field turf. A lot of injuries on artificial turf fields. And you know what company invented AstroTurf back in the 1970s? Chat, I'll give you a chance. Tell me what company invented fake grass fields. If you were watching my show last week on Badlands Maha News, you already know the answer to this because I went off on quite a rant. Jason got it. It's Monsanto. A couple of you said DuPont. That's a good guess. DuPont's a good guess. But yep, it was Monsanto. Monsanto invented AstroTurf. AstroTurf was a patented. It was patented, and it was the first like fake grass. Didn't that come out in the 70s? I remember some old NFL stadiums had AstroTurf in the 70s. And freaking genetically engineered chemical company that makes weed killer for our real grass lawns came out with fake grass. What a freaking... Of course, right? Of course. I remember when I was a kid, the Seattle Seahawks built a new stadium. When they moved out of the Kingdome, they moved into, I think they called it CenturyLink Field back then. But they opened up their new stadium in Seattle, so my dad took me. We took the ferry over, walked to the Seahawks Stadium new field because they had an open public day. And I think it was one of the first stadiums that had the upgraded AstroTurf. So it wasn't AstroTurf, they called it Field Turf. It was more advanced. It had a more natural feel, and we were running around the field. Oh my gosh, look at this AstroTurf. This is 21st century shit. Now I hate it. Fake grass, fake food, fake drinks, fake news. A lot of fake influencers on the internet, too. Yep. Good question, Dal. Appreciate that Rumble rant. Too bad I can't get the YouTube super chats. Maybe someday. But Dal asks, okay, real talk. You're offered an opportunity to travel in time to the past, 100 years ago, 1925. Would I do it? Could I come back? How long would I have to be there? Would I have to be there for the rest of my life? If it's for the rest of my life, no. I wouldn't go. How long would it be for? Few days, few weeks, few months, few years? Nope, can't come back. I ain't going to 1925. Come on. I'm a bitch. Yeah, I could go talk to Nikola Tesla, though. That'd be rad. It's not like I could share anything, though. But I could educate humanity. I'm trying to do that now, man. I could reach more people right now. How would I educate humanity in 1925? Nah, I just go I go burn down the Federal Reserve and do humanity a favor, and probably die in the process, and change the course of history. And then go tell Nikola Tesla to watch out for that J.P. Morgan guy. Yeah, fake news, fake food, fake tits. It's also fake. I'm sick of it. Done with it. All right, guys. Any last comments, questions, concerns, complaints? Drop them in the chat. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you dropping the links, Debbie. Good stream, guys. Friday night. You guys have a good weekend. Appreciate ya. What up, Blake? Good to see me on the YouTubes. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. We'll see if it stays. See what we do with it. I'll be uploading some stuff over the weekend. Working on some Substack articles, so be on the lookout for those. I'll post them to Twitter, Telegram, Truth Social when those are out. Other than that, I'll see you guys on Monday for some more streams. I'll stream in the morning on Pilled, and then in the evening on all the platforms. I will post all the links before I do. Yeah, cool. Appreciate you guys being here. Have a good night.